Good morning, everyone. Thursday, the 28th of May, getting close to Sunday, Pentecost, which we shall celebrate together on our church online service, which we present, and whatever other services may be presented or words shared from various parishes in the diocese. I was struck in the reading this morning from morning prayer, Ephesians chapter 5. It's a famous passage. It is where Paul is saying we must be imitators of Christ. And he draws two incredible analogies. He draws the distinction between darkness and light. He says we must not operate in the dark or operate like those who are of the dark, operating where you put yourself first, operating with subterfuge and deceit, where it's all about you and what you can get from someone else. That, he said, is paradoxically opposed to the way Christ works, where he offers of himself for others. He lives in a way which is fair and true. You can trust him. And we know in the world around us that we so often cannot trust those who appear to be in a position of trust because they really are looking after themselves first. Paul goes on and he draws another analogy of the wise and the unwise. And he says, in effect, that we who are wise must live as we live in the light, but we must also be imitators of Christ. And of course, Paul is talking to a church who are newly established, filled with people who have only recently come to understand who Christ is in the world. But the message, I believe, just as relevant for you and me today. How do we live our lives? Do we follow the way of the world? That, Paul would say, is the way of the dark. It's the way of the unwise. How do we live our lives? Are we trustworthy? Do we obey Christ in all we do? Are we wise in our thinking, or simply follow those with the loudest voice, thinking that because their voices are so loud, they therefore should be good leaders? May not be the case. Just very briefly, we spoke a little bit yesterday about the reopening of churches, and I expressed some caution. And I want to share that our chapter have been discussing this and sharing it with their own people. And there's a growing consensus that to rush into opening churches, not this Sunday, it's still the end of May, but the very Sunday after that, the first Sunday of May, June rather, to do that may be unwise. And so there is this belief that we should wait on the Lord and see. But we use the time of June and starting now to think carefully about what it is and how it is we will open our churches. When is the right time? Are our people ready to come back to worship? How do we deal with those who may not be ready or who may be vulnerable if and should they contract this COVID-19? So just to keep you abreast of where our thinking is at this moment in time. So don't expect the church to open in this diocese on the first Sunday of June. Our caution, we believe the Holy Spirit saying to us, just wait, be wise at this time. Folks, we'll chat again tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. God bless.